coming to you live from my bedroom, and I'm here to do Wentworth Season 5's Top 10 Moments. So Season 5, man, we have Kaz Proctor as top dog. Let me just say she was the worst top dog of them all. I don't care what anyone says. That is my opinion. Kaz Proctor sucked as top dog. You gotta fuck shit up if you're a top dog. You can't be top dog and be like non-violent. That's ridiculous. So anyway, we're gonna get right into the shit. Moment number 10 is when Kaz and Will are in the brawler. I forget where they were headed, but they were headed somewhere. So Frankie had loosened the bolts to the brawler, right? Kaz and Will end up in this brawler, all right? And so their shit goes off the road and ends up falling into like a lake or some shit. Kaz is stuck. Will Jackson, being the hero that he is, saves her. She, rises to the surface of the water. Will Jackson ends up not coming to the surface of the water. Kaz starts freaking the fuck out and she's yelling out, Will! Will! Let me just say that when she was yelling his name, it was like fucking nails on a chalkboard. So she's looking, she's screaming, she's crying. She believes that he has died, saving her life. And then all of a sudden, shoo, he comes right out of the damn water. He's alive. He's breathing. Everything's okay. And it was a great moment. It was one of the best moments because, hello, he did not die. And who the fuck wants Will Jackson to die? Nobody. Except for Joan Ferguson. And that was also the turning point in their relationship. And Kaz started being less of a bitch after that to Will. So it was a great moment. Long live Will Jackson. Moment number 9 is when, I believe this is in the very first episode, and it's when Joan Ferguson has killed B. Smith. The women know what she's done. You know what I'm saying? Allie is back in general population, and she is determined to get revenge on Joan Ferguson for the death of her woman, all right? And so I don't know what the fuck Allie was thinking. Allie's got heart. She might not have like the muscle needed to fulfill the missions that she sets forth to do. But the bitch got heart, and you got to give her credit for that. So she had what I believe are billiard balls. Why did that make me laugh? She put the balls in a sock, and then she was going to bash this bitch's head in. But unfortunately for Ali Novak, the freak is like strong. So Ali goes to attack the freak, and the freak is like, nope, not today, bitch. I'm gonna beat your ass. And she proceeds to do just that. She beats the shit out of Ali and several of the other women who jumped in because they wanted a piece of Joan Ferguson. Joan Ferguson beat the shit out of all of them. She even broke like somebody's arm or some shit. And then starts screaming like a mad woman, okay? Like, who wants some next, That screech that came out of her mouth when she says, come on, was disturbing. I was like, oh my God, Joan, please don't scream like that. She looked like a wild animal, like a fucking bear, okay? Look at this picture of Joan in mid-yell, in mid-screech, and then look at this picture of the bear. Are they not the same? Do they not look exactly alike? I don't know what the fuck these women were thinking fucking with Joan Ferguson, but hello, you don't do it. It was a great moment. We got to see how strong Joan was. We got to see the fear in the women's eyes when they got to see how strong Joan Ferguson was, because up until that point, I don't think we had seen Joan Ferguson fight anybody, right? Like physically, bloop, fight somebody. No, this is when we learned that Joan Ferguson could fuck shit up, both, mentally and physically. Moment number 8 is the moment involving Sonia Stevens and Detective Don Kaplan. I can't stand Don Kaplan. What a son of a bitch. Anyway, so what happens? Him and Sonia, they were in cahoots with the whole Witness X fiasco. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were in on it, which means Sonia knew that Liz was Witness X from jump. You know what I'm saying? She went into the prison knowing what they were going to do to Lizzie. You know what I'm saying? In order to ensure Sonia's freedom, they were going to make Liz look like a fucking liar. We see that Sonia and Don are in cahoots with one another, and they're in bed after having been intimate. Don wants the truth about what Sonia did to her husband. We all know Sonia killed and buried her husband in sassafras somewhere. Isn't that a funny word? Sassafras. Don wants to hear it from Sonia's mouth. And Sonia's like, fine, I'll tell you tonight over a romantic dinner, and I'll have your monies as well. You know what I'm saying? Your payment for helping me to not spend the rest of my life in the fucking penitentiary. Sonia says to herself, you know, fuck this motherfucker. I'm not telling you jack shit. You got to go because now you're a fucking problem and I'm gonna kill you just like I killed the others. She drugs Don Kaplan. Don ends up double crossing Sonia. He pretends that he's drugged up. They're in Sonia's car. He's pretending that he's all drugged up because of the drugs that she put into his, like, champagne. And she's confessing to him what she's done. And then when she goes to, like, you know, get her tools ready, her tarp, so she could wrap him up in the tarp and bury him or whatever the fuck the case might be, does he knock her over the head? I think he hits her upside the head and leaves her knocked the fuck out in the wilderness. I could be wrong. Let's review the footage, shall we? She wakes up in the middle of the night to see that he's gone. So is the vehicle. You know, so now she's in the wild, not knowing where the fuck to go, completely on foot. She tracks down a car. She stops a car. And I guess they take her to her house and then she runs home. So now she's scrambling to pack her shit so that she could fucking flee and go live a life being on the lam. On the lam is another way of saying on the run. So the bitch is in her house and what happens? We see all the cops come in and she's like, oh shit, I'm fucked. And at the end of the day, she ends up getting arrested. Okay? And charged for the murder of her husband. Why? Because Don Kaplan snitched. I think he recorded their whole conversation. Again, I could be wrong. Moment number 7 is the moment. There's going to be a lot of moments here involving Joan Ferguson, and I realized that when I looked. Maybe I could have done a better job, but hello, these are my moments. These are the moments that I believe are the best. So moment number 7 is when Joan Ferguson kills Iman. Iman is in Frankie's cell, okay, trying to kill her with a shiv, and Frankie's trying to fight her off, but Iman seems to be overpowering Frankie. They're struggling, they're fighting, and what happens? Joan Ferguson comes in from out of nowhere, scoops up Iman from off of Frankie, and Frankie's like, oh, thank goodness, salvation. You know what I'm saying? She's the one who killed Mike Panisi. And Joan Ferguson is like, she was like, oh, word? So she could, like, you know, get you out of the situation that you're in, which is facing jail time for the murder of a man whom you did not murder. And Joan is like, well, she won't be telling anybody anything. And then she proceeds to snap Iman's neck right in front of Frankie. She drops her. Iman falls to the ground like a rag doll, you know what I'm saying? As they all seem to do. I remember thinking, oh my God, Joan, you're such a fucking bitch. What did Frankie ever do to you? Besides defy your every rule. Moment number 6 is the moment that Frankie, after she escaped and found the proof that Iman was the one who killed Mike Panisi after all, she gets released from prison and her and Bridget are going to live happily ever after again. And Frankie comes back to the prison to visit her girls. Multiple factors make me cry. The music, the song choice, Boomer's happy tears when she sees Frankie, Allie's face, Liz's face, all of them just being together, and like the happiness that you could see in all of their faces for Frankie, knowing that she's gonna be free from now on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure they would have loved her to be on the inside with them, but at the end of the day, hello, if one of them can have freedom, they're gonna want them to have freedom. So I did it again. I included a moment in season 5's top 10 moments that did not happen during season 5. It happens during season 6. Oh boy. It's really hard to focus these days, but I'm trying, so bear with me. All right, boom. So the actual moment is the moment where Joan Ferguson sets Iman Farrar up to get attacked by Juice and the boys. So Juice has Iman on the bed. She's ripping her pants off. And then Stella is, you know, keeping guard outside the cell door when all of a sudden Frankie and Boomer come. Boomer punches Stella in the face, or she may have hit her with an elbow. I can't remember which one of the two it was that she did. And then Frankie goes inside the cell, grabs Juice by the face, and saves Iman's life. So basically what she did was she squeezed the shit out of Juice's face because Juice was going through that shit with her tooth. She had a cavity. And then Will Jackson comes and he's like, you know, what's going on here? They all come out one by one. Everyone's like, oh, everything's fine. Nothing to see here. And Juice is like, it wasn't me. It was Doyle. She attacked my cavity. Moment number 5 is the moment. This is like a two-parter. So in season 5, we had the relationship between Vera and Jake happening, right? Then, they finally decide, fuck Wentworth, we're gonna just quit our jobs, run off, and move somewhere and just live happily ever after, away from Wentworth, the women, and most importantly, away from Joan Ferguson. But this is Wentworth, and like I've said 1,000 times, in Wentworth, things never go according to plan. So what happens? Vera sees Joan Ferguson. Vera's like all, smug with her head in the air, like, fuck you, bitch, I'm out of here. And Joan Ferguson drops the bomb on Vera and tells her that Jake has been her puppet. She's been pulling Jake's puppet strings. Okay, she's the fucking puppet master. So she's like, Jake falling in love with you? He doesn't love you. I sent him to do A, B, and C. Whatever the fuck she said to her. Joan told her the truth. That the only reason why Jake was interested in her was because Joan sent him to do this to her. Make her fall in love and then break her fucking heart. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck type of shit is that? That's really fucked up to do to somebody. And Jake is a fucking, well, he was a fucking idiot because I grew to have like for Jake. Not love for Jake, but like for Jake. Joan, crushes Vera with this revelation. And then the second part of this number 5 moment is when Jake goes into the employee lounge to tell Vera, listen, I know that it started off as, some fucked up shit, but I genuinely grew to fucking love you and I want to be with you. And Vera proceeds to tell him off in such a way. She did not hold back her thoughts. It was one of the best verbal lashings I've ever heard on Wentworth, okay? And it was a great moment because I was worried that Vera was going to be like a pushover and be like, all right, I forgive you, Jakey. You know what I'm saying? But she did it. She stood firm and she told that motherfucker what she had to say. Moment number 4 is Kangaroo Court. Kangaroo Court. Yo, first of all, I thought the name was so stupid, Kangaroo Court. Like, what the fuck? But whatever. It's a real thing. If you don't know what Kangaroo Court means, this is what it means. So, they decide to do this whole fucking damn Kangaroo Court, and Joan, in the midst of it all, loses her shit. Completely. Okay? She goes fucking bonkers, and she starts fucking yapping at the mouth, yelling, oh, pigs feeding from the trough, and all types of shit. You need me, because you're fucking whatever the fuck she says, and she just goes off on these bitches, and they're like, yo, bitch, we were rooting for you. Her facial expressions alone were enough to have me in complete hysterics when I was watching this shit. And then what happens? The bitches decide, you know what? You called us pigs feeding from the trough? You've got to die. And so they string her up from the damn basketball hoop and try to hang her. But Vera comes and saves the bitch's life. So it was just a good moment. And the whole time I'm watching and I'm like, she's gonna die. Vera's not gonna be able to save her. She's giving her mouth to mouth. She's giving her CPR. All the women are gathered around watching. And I'm just like, this bitch is not going to make it. And then what happens? She opens her eyes. Surprise! I'm alive. And I was like, oh boy, all right, she's alive. Moment number 3, oh God. This is one of the scenes that I have yet to fully watch in its entirety because of the amount of blood from the mouth. I can't do it. Even though she didn't die, like my phobia is blood from the mouth when a person is dying. Juice didn't die. Anyway, the fucking moment is the moment when, Joan Ferguson cuts out Juicy Lucy's tongue. She cuts this bitch's tongue the fuck out of her mouth, and I could not believe it. Even though I loved when Joan straddles Juice and tells her, you've licked your last pussy. The way she says the word pussy, the way her mouth moved, her lips moved when she said the word pussy was fucking everything. I loved it. Everyone is congregated in the yard, right? When Juice comes out looking like some crazy ass shit, okay? She comes out stumbling, looking like she's been drinking or whatever, but she's bloody from the mouth. I didn't like it. But it was so gross because I know there was chunkage involved, and I'm not here for any of that. But it was a fantastic moment. And then like fucking Vera always gets it. She gets all the, I think Juice spits or throws up blood and tongue chunks, all onto Vera. Vera's like so horrified. I would have been fucking horrified as well. I don't know what the fuck I would have done. I would have screamed. I probably would have started screaming because I wouldn't have known what the fuck to do. And then when Vera receives the tongue as a birthday gift, like, here, in celebration of your birth, here's Juice's tongue. I was just like, fucking Joan, yo. You can't deny how clever she is. Moment number 2 is the moment that Joan Ferguson is named top dog. Let me tell you something. No top dog ceremonial crowning was as good as this. Besides Luke Kelly when she declared herself top dog. I love when Tina says it. Tina Mercado's like, Joan took out the trash when Kaz couldn't. Top dog, you know? And I was like, oh God, I got goosebumps. And then the rest of the women start repeating it and Joan's looking around like, oh shit. And then she opens her arms, you know? So when she opens her arms like that, that's one of the best visuals that Wentworth ever gave us. It was great. I just fucking thought that that was one of the best moments. Not only in season 5, but of the whole series as well. Alright, world. Moment number 1. Moment number 1 is the moment when Joan receives her karma for killing B. Smith. And her karma came in the form of being buried alive by Will Jackson, our hero, the one who we would never think would do anything like this. She's being buried alive, you know. She thought she was going to be escaping the prison via this fucking box for the Garden Wall project, but that's not what happened. Why? Because Will intercepted her escape and, you know, decided, no, bitch, we're going to bury you alive, and that's final. He's burying this bitch alive. She's screaming. Dirt is falling on her face for a fucking germaphobe like Joan. You know that shit must have been traumatizing. Just as traumatizing as being in the box. The dirt touching her. Because if you look at that scene when the dirt first touches her, she's like, ah! As a viewer watching this, we still didn't know that it was Will Jackson who buried this bitch alive. Oh, man. So it was just a great moment. A villain getting what they deserve. I was a little sad to see her go because I'm like, that's it. She's dead. I loved season 5. I loved all the seasons, but season 5 was a good one, especially because of all the fucking shit that went down between Joan and the women. You know what I'm saying? So was there any moment that I didn't mention from season 5 that you think was top 10 worthy? If so, let me know in the comments down below. So if you like this video, you already know what to do. Like my shit, subscribe to my channel. So that's it. That's all I got. Thanks for watching and bye.